Hey, what is up, guys? It's Rafael here, your seven-figure e-commerce coach, and this is a training called the Winning Product Mastery, Testing and Scaling, how to test products on Facebook and Google with low budgets, and then how to scale those products to more than 15,000 a month. So this is only for the Facebook group. This will not go on YouTube, so make sure to watch it. And if you have someone that wants to watch this training, make sure that they join the Facebook group. So for some proof, I want to show you that today we're already at $900 and it's 1 p.m. over here in Europe where I am right now. And this month we've made $15,000 and 200, right? So we started out on the 17th of February and now already on the 27th of February, in about 10 days, we've made more than $15,000. So that's the actual potential of this strategy that I'm going to teach you is that you can do $1,000 a day starting whenever it is, and this store actually never had sales before ever. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and now $15,000 in a single month, 900 today from 36 orders. So let's get into the training, winning product mastery, testing, and scaling. So 3 topics to discuss: how to test products with very low budget on Facebook and Google, how to know when you have a winning product and what are the signs of a true winning product that you can scale, and then how to scale a new product from 0 to 15,000 in a week, 0 to 15,000 in 10 days, pretty much like we did on what I just showed you. So how to test on low budgets. We're going to go over Facebook and Google. For Facebook ads testing, you want to do 1 product at a time, 1 campaign per product, 4 audiences for that product for $5 to $10 per day, and then 1 ad. Why are we keeping it at 1 product at a time, 1 campaign per product? When you're doing low budgets, you don't want to test 10 to 20 different products on very low budgets per product. You want to test a product thoroughly. You do your research properly. You watch my product research videos, how to find products, and then you take that product and you want to test it very well. You don't just want to kind of test it for like $5, $10. You want to really test that product to see if it has potential, because some products, they start out not that great with like 1 or 2 audiences, and they do well and they scale properly to like $15,000 just because 1 or 2 audiences didn't work. Doesn't mean the product works. You really have to test them and make sure that you're testing it properly, not just a little bit here and there. So you want to do 1 ad because you want to keep it clean. You don't want to test a bunch of ads. The more ads you test, the more you have to spend. So if you don't want to spend that much, just create the best possible ad you can do. And then 1 campaign per product. 4 audiences, that can be interest audiences, behavior audiences. You might combine 2 different brands, combine 2 different influencers in that audience. So it just depends where you want to go from there, and then put them all at $5 to $10 per day each. So the CBO style campaign is the highest return, lowest risk to test. So what I would do is, in your case, if you want to do 4 audiences for 1 product, I would do a CBO, campaign budget optimization. If you don't know what CBO is or you have never heard of it, watch my videos on YouTube about CBOs, about creating campaign budget optimization campaigns. And then it's the highest return, lowest risk. Honestly, it's the best thing to test. That is how I teach my inner circle students, my mentoring program. That's how I teach them, just CBO. And then you do, let's say you want to do 4 audiences, $5 per day. That would be a $20 CBO or a $25 CBO. 25 I've seen test really well, so just do a $25 CBO per day. That is how you begin the testing. So the Google testing, you want to start out a 1 shopping campaign, 5 to 10 products. And the objective is not to get sales and not to test these products thoroughly. It's just to get clicks and see which one is getting the most attention. So once you start a shopping campaign, you can either do a standard shopping or a smart shopping campaign. If you have no idea what these are, if this is all new to you, go to my YouTube channel, type in Rafael Cintron, and you will find my most watched video is on Google Ads. So 1 shopping campaign, smart or standard, whichever it is, 5 to 10 products, and you want to see which one gets clicks. You don't want to get sales off that. You don't want to test it thoroughly. You just want to see which one gets clicks. The one that gets the most attention, let's say you spend like $20 and one gets 100 clicks from that, you know that product has a lot of potential. That product is getting a lot of attention. A lot of people are looking for it. They're searching for it and they're clicking on it. You then transition to 1 product campaign to test it individually. Testing products alone on Google is okay, but I prefer seeing if the product has more potential over the other products in my store. And don't test your whole store. Like, it's fine to test your whole store if you have like up to 20 products. But if you have more than 20 products, I wouldn't really recommend doing like so many products. So Then transition to one product campaign, like I just said. You test it individually, and you see if it has potential to scale from there on. So that's Facebook ads testing, and then Google testing. That is the gist of it. If you don't understand what CBO is, if you don't understand what Google ads are, you can watch the other videos. They're all for free. But this is just the breakdown of exactly how I tell my students to test. So how to know when you really have a winning product? How do you know when you have that winner? So it performs strongly in 2 or more of the audiences you tested on Facebook. It just doesn't, like some products, they do really well in one audience, and some products, they just do well on like 2 to 3, even the 4 audiences that you test. If a product does well with one audience, the scaling potential of it might not be the highest, and it might not really be a winning product. It might just be like a fluke, or it's just, if the audience is very specific and the other 3 ones are like super broad and crazy, or just you're testing random things, then yeah, it might not be a fluke. It might be that that audience is really good. If it gets like 2, 3 or more sales, then yeah, that audience is really good. You want to keep testing more audiences just like that, or variations of that audience. But you really want to do that. You want to make sure that it has 2 or more audiences that are good. Not just one ad set getting you sales. You want to make sure that it's 2 or more, so that it has potential to scale, because if it's just doing well in one audience, it's probably not going to scale beyond that, right? So it gets a high view content to add to cart percentage. That means that for every like 10 clicks that you get at least 1 or 2 add to carts. 2 would be preferable. 3 is even better. If you get a 30% view content, so someone that goes to your website and then adds to cart, if that's a 30%, that's awesome. That's a sweet spot. But 20 to 30% would be awesome to get, like from view content to add to cart, because sometimes you get a lot of clicks on a product, a lot of clicks, and nobody adds to cart. Then that's an issue right there. That could be an issue with your product page, that you have to improve the product page, or that could be an issue with the price, that you have to lower the price. So you want to really shoot for that percentage of like 30% going from the view content to add to cart, to know that it's a true winner, because we're talking about winning, really winning products, so you can scale to 15K in a single month. So it gets sales with a 1.8 return on ad spend. So this is the return on ad spend on Facebook. This is particularly on Facebook or on Google. It gets like a 2x return on Google, and it scales profitably. So when you test scaling the budget, when you test duplicating, it scales profitably. It not just dies down. Products that do really well on low budgets and then they die down, those are called semi-winners, not true winners. So for a true winning product, it scales profitably, stays profitable, and not just dies down on you. And then it stays profitable in duplicate ad sets. So when you duplicate that ad set, that campaign, when you duplicate that audience, that ad set, it stays profitable. It not just dies down, the duplicate that's down, and just the original works. That could be an indication of a true winning product. That when you scale it and you duplicate that audience, or you duplicate the whole campaign, it stays very strong and it keeps very profitable. So how to scale to 15,000 in a week? You scale by duplicating. That I've seen as the best method, to just duplicate the whole campaign or duplicate the ad sets, because when you duplicate, Facebook kind of gives you a different chunk of that audience. So you have, when you do an audience of like 500,000 people, Facebook targets just a small chunk of that audience. When you duplicate it, it's not targeting the same chunk. It's targeting a different chunk of the audience in that 500,000 people. So the potential of reaching more people in that audience improves or increases when you duplicate. It doesn't mean that when you duplicate, they're both going to fight against each other. No, if it's a large enough audience, if it's more than 100,000 people, it's just going to take a different pool of that audience. Think that it's a huge pool of like 100 people, right? Facebook is targeting 2 of those people, and then in the duplicate, it's not going to target the same 2 people. It's going to target other 2 people in that pool of 100. So you really want to just scale by duplicating. It's just the best way. It keeps things stable. Increasing the budgets work, like I'm going to talk about a little bit here, but duplicating is just the best. And then you can use CBOs to expand on your winning audiences. What that means is that if you have a CBO from the beginning that is performing really well, 2 to 3 audiences are performing well, what you want to do is duplicate that and then use the new CBO that you just created to expand on those winning audiences, create slight variations. Maybe you add another interest on there. Maybe you test with engaged shoppers, without engaged shoppers. So you just want to expand on that. And then you have one CBO campaign with 1 to 2 top audiences, and you scale that 25 to 50% per day. Don't be afraid of having one campaign as a CBO with like one ad set. That's completely fine. We have some campaigns like that, and we just increase the budget 25 to 50% per day after 3 profitable days. So if it's profitable in the past 3 days, you want to increase. You want to slowly increase it. You don't want to do like doubling the budget or 4xing the budget. If you 4x the budget or even 10x the budget, and if it stays profitable in that, that means you have a real winning product. But we want to be careful on it. We don't want to really like blow everything out of the water. We want to test slowly and grow slowly. So 25 to 50% per day with those 1 to 2 top audiences in that CBO campaign. You can scale that as much as you can. CBOs, after like $50 to $100 per day, they start to go down in performance, but that's completely fine. Duplicating is just the best way to do it, and it's the way that we do it and just how we scale very quickly. So you want to test multiple lookalike audiences and retargeting in a different campaign. So how we scale on a large basis, let's say we have like 20 campaigns, and those 20 campaigns, they all have different lookalikes, different interest audiences. You can test one CBO campaign with lookalikes of 1%. So that would be view content 1%, add to cart 1%, initiate checkout 1%, and then have another CBO with 2%, another CBO with 3%, and then another CBO with video view lookalikes. And then the video view lookalikes crush it for you. Then you do 2%, 3%, 4%, even to 10% video view lookalikes. And then you have a lot of these campaigns testing a lot of different products, a lot of different audiences, and then you scale that way, right? You scale horizontally instead of vertically, which is just increasing the budget. Retargeting different campaigns, so 4 audiences per campaign, and the retargeting, you can also do that, like do all website traffic, view content, add to cart, and then retargeting the initiate checkout. That's essentially how we position it. It's just having a different campaign for everything. So you name the retargeting a hot campaign, you name the lookalikes a warm campaign, and then you name the interest audiences a cold campaign, because it's cold, warm traffic, hot traffic, then you name them depending on what they are, right? And you put them in different campaigns so they scale apart from each other. Then the last thing is, this is going to die out in September, but transitioning from CBO to traditional ad sets. So what you can do is have a CBO campaign that's crushing it, and then you transition that to a traditional ad set campaign. I don't recommend doing this that much because in September, CBOs are going to be a default anyway. So, you're taking a risk of like in September, this whole strategy is going to go away. So the CBO is just a better strategy to do. When, you can get to 15,000 in a week or even like 100,000 in a month without doing any manual bidding, without doing like crazy budgets on CBOs, but we can test us on this. We can test those or learn about those later on. I can do a video on how to scale to like 10,000, even to $20,000 a day with manual bidding and with scaling campaigns to very high levels with that manual bid. So, and the last thing is test more ads. So you want to have the same audiences with duplicate campaign, a new campaign that's a duplicate from the original ones that's working, top 4 audiences from the previous 5 to 7 days. So if you have like 4 lookalikes that are doing really well on the original campaign, you want to test 4 new ads, or even, the more ads you test, the more you have to spend, but the better chances are that you'll find a new winning ad. So you want to test 4 new ads, even, we always test like even 16 to 24 ads in new campaigns because we want to find that new winning ad that could essentially crush it. Then run video versus picture ads and video number 1 versus video number 2 or 3, 4, how many videos you want to test. Always just test video versus picture in the beginning if you want to do 2 ads, and then video versus video if you want to test like the video and go more granular on it. Maximum 4 ads per ad set, but sweet spot is 2 ads per ad set. So what to do next? Start testing on the platform that's right for you. Facebook and Google are both kings, right? Google, you can test a lot of products, see which one has potential, and then scale that product through just product campaigns, scaling 25 to 50% a day. Same rules apply on here. Duplicating campaigns, same rules apply on Google. Don't give up on a semi-winning product, because sometimes semi-winners they get like a one audience or 2 audiences that are doing well, but they don't scale that much. You want to master that product and learn how to market it better than anybody else. And if it's semi-winning, it might mean that it's just not saturated or it's not super trendy, that it's going to die down later. So you want to focus on that product, test different ads, test different audiences, see if you can get it to work. And if you can't scale it, you can just make like 100, 200 profit per day on that product, running it continuously, and then use that money to test new products. And then the last thing, schedule a free one-on-one call with me to see if you're the right fit for one-on-one mentoring and for my mentoring program called the E-commerce Secrets Inner Circle. So schedule that call. The link, if you're watching this on YouTube, the link is, if you're watching this on like the YouTube link, the YouTube video, you can go to the first thing in the description. It says schedule a free one-on-one call, and just go to that call and then schedule it with me to see if you're the right fit. This training is only for the Facebook group, but yeah, the platform that I'm using to share with you guys is YouTube. But that's actually how you do it, guys. Go and start testing. CBOs are obviously for Facebook ads, but for Google, the same rules apply about having the specific campaign. So the specific product campaign that I showed you, transition to a product campaign, and then the same thing applies. So you want to test different duplicates of that campaign. So you want to duplicate that campaign. And also for Google, you want to test different countries. You want to test different bidding strategies, which I can talk about later on. I'm going to make a whole Google video on how to master Google, but this is just touching it in the topic. Google for scaling is a little bit slower, but it's less risk, higher return. So yeah, depending on the platform that you want to test, Google or Facebook, that is how you test it. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Share with your friends if it gets help to them. And if you're not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe. Rafael Cintron. I put out a video pretty much like every 2 to 3 days, value pack video, value pack slideshows that you guys can use to crush it in 2019 and so on. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.